Good morning and welcome to the video for Thursday, June the 11th. This is going to be a follow-up video for our upcoming fourth graders, taking a look at multiplication strategies. So on Monday, I told you we were going to be talking about some different things, and one of those would be eventually working with 2 digits times 2 digits. And so when we're working with 2-digit factors, there's a couple different things that we look at. One of those is going to be this idea of using a kind of diagram to represent all of our partial products. And the reason why we do that is to help you reinforce the fact that when we're doing 18 times 26, we're essentially doing 4 different multiplication problems if we do it the traditional method. And so we can review our basic math facts without having to worry about, oh, I can't count by 18s or I can't count by 26s. We don't need to. So let's take a look at what this might look like. So for instance, the first thing that we would do would be 6 times 8. So if I do 6 times 8, that is going to give me 48. And then the next thing I would be doing would be to do 6 times 10. So 6 times 10 is going to give me 60. If I were to add both of those together, I would get my answer that would be at the top. So let's say I wrote the problem out like this. And so first thing I would do would be 6 times 8 followed by 6 times 10. So the answer to both of these together would give me my top part of my answer. And then I would bring a 0 down to represent that I'm doing 20 times 8 followed by 20 times 10. So 20 times 8, I'm using a basic math fact, 8 times 2, putting a 0 at the end to get 160. 2 times 1 would give me 2. If I put 2 zeros at the end, which is something I mentioned to you guys in 3rd grade, that would give us 200. If I add those together, I would get 360, which would be the bottom part, and then we can add those together. So this is kind of the way it would look if we did a traditional method, and this is how we would work on it using partial products. So the reason why we do that is because they're both related to each other. And so I know people my age and probably a little bit younger only learned how to do it this way. We do ask students to understand how the partial products work. So I'm going to show one more example of that, especially to help parents kind of understand what's going on with that. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the traditional method and a way that we might take a look at our partial products that way. So our first thing that we would be doing if we wrote this out as a traditional kind of format would be doing 9 times 7. That's going to give us 63. And then we would represent that by carrying a 6. And then we would be doing 9 times 20. And then we kind of carry the 6 that we would have here. So 9 times 20 is going to give us 180. If I add these two together, that would give me 243. I would bring a 0 down to represent the fact that I'm doing 30 times 7, which would give me 210. And then 30 times 20 would give me 600. That would give me 810. When I add both of those together, I would add to go ahead and get my answer of 1053. I am going to show an example of something that they're going to ask students to do using this problem. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is saying that I'm doing 2 times 2, which is 4. The next part I'm going to be doing is 2 times 10, which equals 20. The third thing I'm going to be doing is 10 times 2, which again equals 20. And then I'm doing 10 times 10. Which would be 100. One of the things that they're going to ask students to do is take a look at 4 problems like this, sometimes with the problems written out, sometimes with just the partial products. And let's say instead of getting an answer of 10 times 2 equals 20, that I might get 40. So let's say that I ended up getting something that looked like this. And what they're going to ask a student to do is to take a look at this list of partial products and be able to identify why they got the wrong answer for 12 times 12 and what the correct answer should be. So they have to be able to identify which problems made up the partial products and then how to identify which one is incorrect and fix it to get the correct answer. Now, obviously, if we have memorized 12 times 12 equals 144, we don't really need to do a whole lot other than figure out which one was wrong. So as I'm looking, I would recognize that 2 times 10 is supposed to be 20. And both of these should be 20. This one should not be 40. So as we look at stuff for state testing, that is a type of problem that you will frequently see at least one or two examples of. And they're going to ask fourth grade students to be able to identify the partial products, which one would be wrong, what the correct answer should be for the partial product, and then the correct final answer using partial products. So that's a lot of things to take a look at, but I think that once you look at it as just kind of a way of building on to what we've already worked on, other than explaining it, which is why I'm doing the video now, it should be a relatively simple idea. There's going to be an entire chapter, so several weeks worth of practice just working with this particular idea. So by the time we get done with that, especially using this as kind of a way to introduce the concept now before we get into the full swing of things, that should hopefully help. Parents, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You send me an email, give me a message on Class Dojo, go in and post a message in the last year's third grade classroom for Google Classroom, or if your student has a question, do the same thing as well. So I hope you all are having a wonderful summer. I really do miss you guys. I wish that we had had a chance to spend time together. I will have an email announcement that will be an update for a way to kind of connect over the summer. So I will send that out very soon for something that will start next week. So hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope your summer is going well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be on a whole new topic coming up on Monday.